Welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Melody, and here are today's reports. New infection cases in Myanmar reach record high within 5 days. Bananas and coconut sale force decreases by nearly half. Old Book Market tries to keep on reviving amid COVID-19 pandemic. Tourism sector shows lack of foreign incomes till today. Before we get to the reports, let's take a look at the featured local news for today. The Republic of the Union of Myanmar and the Republic of Korea organized first joint general working group committee meeting online via Zoom on Friday. U Min Min, Director General of Trade Department of Myanmar's Ministry of Commerce, and Mr. Chon Yeon-jong, Director General of Trade and Economic Cooperation Bureau of ROK's Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy, co-chaired the meeting. During the meeting, they said they will closely cooperate in establishing a common trade goal this year and in promoting agricultural trade. Myanmar representatives discussed assistances from ROK and ongoing cooperation in promoting bilateral trade and investments on producing value-added rubbers and foods and garment sector, and ROK representatives replied that they will consider for providing assistance in future. The meeting said the two nations would cooperate in launching Korea Desk, which is a main road for bilateral economic cooperation to solve the economic difficulties of the two nation businesses operating in both sides and to help the businesses smoothly get into market. The Ministry of Social Welfare Relief and Resettlement is providing medical and relief items to the IDP camps in Kachin, Shan, and Rakhine states for prevention of COVID-19 transmission. Moreover, the ministry is conducting awareness campaigns and motivation works in Naypyidaw Council area and other regions and states. Myanmar nationals continue to return from abroad by relief flights. On Sunday, a relief flight operated by Myanmar Airways International brought back 164 Myanmar nationals from Jordan and Israel. On arrival at Yangon International Airport, Ministry of Labor, Immigration and Population, Ministry of Health and Sports, and Yangon Region Government provided the returnees with proper medical checks and arrange quarantine measures for COVID-19 prevention and control. And I believe it's time now for our first report. With the resurgence of the COVID-19 in the country, the number of confirmed cases is on the increase day by day. Since the infection cases in the country has increased a lot, the government restricted some townships in Yangon with stay-at-home orders. And other rules meant for the public to follow are also restricted by the Ministry of Health and Sports. These days, Yangon region has the highest numbers of COVID-19 infection cases among the regions and states in the country. Let's take a listen to the latest updates.
With the resurgence of the COVID-19 in the country, the infection cases have increased with a single high day by day. Since the 8th of September to the 12th of September, a total of over 1,200 new cases were detected within 5 days. Within new 7 deaths were reported and 317 people were discharged from the hospital. Since the infection cases in the country increased a lot, the government restricted some townships in Yangon with the stay-at-home orders, and other rules meant for the public to follow are also restricted by the Ministry of Health and Sports. In these days, Yangon region is the highest number with the COVID-19 infection cases among the regions and states in the country. Unyini Region Lotto representative from Dagomyote South Township spoke to MI Radio how the township level COVID-19 committee has prepared for the current infections in the township. He said,
messed up နိုင်စေဖို့အတွက်ကို campaign တွေလုပ်တယ်
Before the resurgence of the COVID-19, we had tried a lot in the prevention process for the people, including mass campaigns and sharing the essential items to all the people in the township. Unfortunately, some people in our township also tested positive for the COVID-19, and our township also is on the list of the stay at home. We disinfected the place where are in lockdown in the township and kept monitoring them. We urged the people who had travel history to Rakhine in these days to stay quarantine centers and to participate with the township level COVID-19 committee. As we know, all the infection cases are higher and higher than we expected, so I urge the people to stay at home these days.
Since the 9th of September, COVID-19 infections cases hit a new single high day by day. 180 cases were detected on the 9th of September. On the 10th of September, a total of 262 cases. And on the 11th of September, 272 cases were also detected. 173 cases were also detected on the 12th of September. Dr. Tanaiso, Director of the Health Knowledge Promotion Division from the Ministry of Health and Sports, spoke to MI Radio that people should follow the rules from the Ministry of Health and Sports and should stay at home.
ဘာပဲပြောပေါ့နော်ဒီအချိန်ကကျွန်တော်တို့အားလုံးညီညွတ်ညွတ်နဲ့ဒီကိုဗစ်ကိုတိုက်ထုတ်ရမယ်
This is a very important time for us in fighting against the COVID-19, as the resurgence of the COVID-19 cases are very rapid and many people are also detected in these days. The Ministry of Health and Sports also ordered the 28 townships to stay at home. I want all the people to follow the rules, and I also want them to stay at home as much as possible. Since the infections were very rapid and we have seen the death rate increase too. People are the keys in fighting against the COVID-19. If people have experienced some kind of symptoms of the COVID-19, I want them to report to the nearest fever clinics or to the Ministry of Health and Sports as soon as possible.
The National Level Central Committee on Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19 instructed some markets in Yangon to close except for stores selling essential foodstuff, medicine, and medical equipment starting from 12th September. The newly confirmed cases brought the number of the infection cases of the COVID-19 in the country to 3,015 in total with 24 deaths. A total of 9,165 patients are currently under the investigation and 699 patients have recovered from the disease as of the data released from the Ministry of Health and Sports.
That's the report on new infection cases in Myanmar reached a record high within 5 days. During the Buddhist land, banana and coconut market used to decline in sale force. This year, the sale rate decreased by nearly 50% due to the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. The main banana and coconut market are the banana and coconut brokerage houses situated in Bagaya in Jimbanai Township, Yangon, where all these fruits are distributed to upper and middle parts of Myanmar. In Myanmar, banana and coconut fruits are used not only for eating purpose, but also for religious affairs and ceremonies. Mintun, Somi Aun, and Yanai reports.
In Myanmar, banana and coconut fruits are used not only for eating purpose but also for religious affairs and ceremonies. The main banana and coconut market are the banana and coconut brokerage houses situated at Bagaya in Jimbanai Township, Yangon, where all these fruits are distributed to upper and middle parts of Myanmar. During the Buddhist land, banana and coconut market used to decline in sale force, but this year the sale rate decreased by nearly 50% due to the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. Mandante, Secretary of Myanmar Banana Growers and Producers Group said,
The
The market for banana is really cold because the supply is larger than the demand. The religious ceremonies and the pagodas have been closed, and that has effects on the market. We are now depending on the consumers. We sell to the household religious ceremonies. The consumers choose for the bigger and better ones as the supplies for banana are large. Therefore, the farmers of the small and medium-sized bananas are affected. The prices for bigger bananas are still 1,200 jets and 1,300 jets and 1,400 jets. But for the small and medium sizes, the prices are reduced from 700 jets, 800 jets, 900 jets to 500 jets and 300 jets. These are not fair prices for the farmers as these prices include the transportation and the agricultural costs. These depend on the agriculture too. The consumer always chooses for the bigger ones, so the small and the medium ones are not much in demand. There are a lot of waste in the small and medium ones too. Comparing with past year, the sale rate has gone down by nearly half in price in this year.
Last 2 to 3 years ago, banana and coconut season was in good demand. Therefore, this year, nationwide banana acreage has doubled. Planting banana is a crop with a low waste and it can earn 30 to 40 million jets income based on 1 acre plantation. Banana plantations are mainly established in Ayeyarwady region, Mandalay region, Sakai region, Bago region and Yangon region, from where the produced bananas are transported by Gaya Brokerage Center in Yangon. Similarly, coconut sales rate also decreased significantly during the month of September. Coconuts are transported from Bugale, Dedaye, Pyapo, Pateng, Changda of Ayeyarwady region to Bagaya brokerage houses in Yangon, where coconut has been distributed to upper Myanmar regions such as Bagan, Yau, Bopa, Chao, Yinanjiao, Magwe, Minbu, Pyobwe, Yameten, Takong, Meitila, Chaose, Sakai, and Mandalay. Ko Myo Min Aung, owner of Shui Only Brokerage House in Bagaya Wholesale Center, said.
In the market, trading decreased clearly during this COVID-19 pandemic. It affects mainly on the upper part of Myanmar like Yinanjiao, Chao, Magwe, and Minbu. We can still trade with Yamete, Pyobwe, and Chaukse. We can trade with Nipiro anymore. The price is lower than before, and trading will be laxer in the future. There are fewer traders than before, so importing decreased and trading was reduced. The arrivals of the ship are not many like before. There were 10 ships arrived in a week before this period, but now nearly 5 ships in a week. Our trading will decrease by 60% if the situation is still going on like this. Even the operation of the factories is slowing down, and it will be very difficult for us to continue our job.
Last year, during the Buddhist land, coconut market was going well to some degree, but this year, at the same time, sales rate has declined more than the normal situation. Mandante, secretary of Myanmar Banana Growers and Producers Group, said.
If there's no COVID-19, there will be a lot of religious ceremonies and the consumers will increase in number. Then we will be fine. I think we should fight the virus with our self-awareness so that this virus can be largely controlled soon.
If the sale connection still decreases until the banana and coconut production seasons comes back and the COVID-19 pandemic is going on, all the producers and farmers will face many difficulties.
That's the report on bananas and coconut sale force decreases by nearly half. Moving on to the third report. Old and antique books can be found on the 37th Book Street of Yangon and also at the National Library Yangon. Amid the outbreak of COVID-19, the old book market is also affected. Although people tend to buy the old books to read during stay-at-home period, the prices are dropped and demands are declining unlike before.
The COVID-19 started to appear at the end of March, thereby affecting multi-sectors like politics, economy, and social affairs to some extent. Similarly, the old book market is also the same matter. Hence, it is learned that the old book market is struggling for the revitalization during these days. Old book buying and selling market saw a decrease in trade, with a few selling and buying activities. The sales rate went down a triple decrease when it was compared with the period before COVID-19. At present, the books worth of 500 to 1,500 jets are mostly in demand, and most of the shops earn 4,000 to 10,000 jets daily. Go Sobai, owner of Sobai Literature and Old Book Distribution Shop, said.
လူကတော့နည်းနည်းလေးကျေဝကြတာဒါပေမဲ့ပထမ wave ပုံစံတော့အရင်ကြောက်လန့်မနေကြဘူး
There are just a few customers, but people are not panicking like the beginning period. The living styles are systematic with the health guidelines like wearing masks. The current circumstance is more serious, but the conditions are all stable. Since the beginning of the outbreak, the sales rates are falling down. For example, if we generally sell 400 jets per day, but now just 10 jets is sold out. Most of the sales are falling rapidly. We are glad that we could survive with the rest of the money we have, because some businesses are stopped immediately. We can still make money, but there are just only few customers.
ဒီစာအုပ်တွေဆိုတာနည်းနည်းလေးတက်တာတဲ့သဘောမှရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့လူကတော့လုံးဝကိုကျေဝတာ
In a bid to solve basic needs of all books sellers, they sold back precious books and historical fiction books between each other. Some famous bookshop owners gave 75,000 jets each to old book sellers as supportive measures. Rare books of 100 and above years old can be obtained in the old book market, and advance order can be made there. The precious old book like Burma Buddhist law published from 1897-1898 have been reprinted, and it cost nearly 15,000 to 20,000 jets, although their original old books prices are around 80,000 to 90,000 jets. Based on the buying book situation and reading habit of the youth who are coming and buying old books, explained by the lawyer Usobai.
ဒီဘက်နောက်ပိုင်းကစောင်းဝင်နေကြီးတွေအစင်မပြေလာတဲ့ပုံမှာစောက်ဘက်ကိုလူတွေကမလှည့်နိုင်ကြဘူး
People can pay attention on the books because of the difficulties in their living. As we are addicted to the buying of books and the habit of reading, we come here. There are so many books I haven't read yet as I have job and duties. Of course, it is difficult to take time for addicted ones like us to read books, so it would be difficult for those who are adopting reading as a hobby.
Actually, the old books prices are really cheap compared to the new edition book prices, although book buyers only buy the books, which are half price cheaper than the original one. Some persons who want to buy old books desirelessly buy the old books regardless of the price. Concerning the current downtrend of sales and demands for books, Wu Onso, owner of Onso Book Publishing House, explained.
ဘယ်လိုစောက်ရောင်းသွက်တယ်လဲဆိုတော့အပြိုဘတ်တော့ပဲရောင်းသွက်ပါတယ်
In this COVID period, only the fan books are on sale. There are only few customers coming for the historical books. We had bad business at the beginning of the outbreak, and we are trying to recover. Now that the resurgence is raging, the sales are all gone. People do not go out. The reader really risks whether he stay home or not. But for now, there is also a business. The average price for a book is at least 1,000 checks. So we have to consider for everyone. Because of the COVID, the jobs are suspended and it is really hard to make money for livings, not to mention reading books. And it is really hard to set the bestsellers too.
Some infrequent antique books will be found in the 37th Book Street, and some books which cannot be found easily can be searched in National Library, which is located on Merchant Road, Babylon Township. National Library Yangon is opened in over 100-year-old building since 1908. Infrequent books which cannot be found in 37th Book Street can be found in National Library Yangon, as there are infrequent books, magazines, newspapers, some antique literatures, and ancient handwriting letters. Those books, magazines, and literatures are open to read and borrow at National Library, Yangon.
That's the report on Old Book Market tries to keep on reviving amid COVID-19 pandemic. Let's move on to the last report for today. People are struggling a lot for their livelihoods with the greater awareness during the pandemic period. Almost every industry is facing losses and difficulties. The restriction of international flights stopped the foreign travelers, and in that way, the country is showing lack of foreign incomes till today.
A major source of foreign income has been suspended in almost every country across the world. The struggles for economy have caused thousands of households depending upon tourism destinations to do tourism-related businesses. The restriction of international flights and the lack of foreign travelers could be barriers to the foreign incomes. Experts from tourism sector is about to reset the tourism industry with new and innovative ways. Tourism destinations have focused on the favors of foreign travelers for decades. The restriction of international flights provides opportunity to grow investments in domestic traveling sites. Still, the chances of getting foreign incomes are still missing for a tourism sector. Wu, chair of the Myanmar Tourist Guides Association, said how the COVID-19 outbreak affected the tourism sector, including every tourism-related business.
Every tourism sector from all over the world is affected by the COVID-19, including every tourism-related business. There are no opportunities for tourist guides and also transportation businesses like car rental service, tour express buses, and flights are suspended as soon as the COVID-19 outbreak has occurred in the country. Restaurants are facing losses too. Tourism is something that one country can earn foreign income, so when it is suspended, the country has to face lots of difficulties. For example, we can say that the closure of the pagodas affects the small shops that are running in the pagoda areas.
COVID-19 situation in Myanmar was cold once in June, and some domestic travelers started to visit the tourism sites after a long days of stay-at-home orders, which were instructed by the Ministry of Health and Sports. There was no opportunity for tour express buses, as people traveled by their own cars with their families and friends, and some tried rental services. Back in the middle of August, the threats to tourism sector emerged again with the resurgence of COVID-19, which is spreading all around the country. Wu, chair of the Myanmar Tourist Guides Association, said about the solutions for this pandemic and the preparations for future if the same situation happened again.
COVID-19 ခုဖြစ်လိုက်တဲ့အခါမှာကျွန်တော်တို့ခီးသွွားလုပ်ငန်းအတွင်းမှာရလိုက်တဲ့သင်ခန်းစာကိုလေဗာလဲဆိုဒီလိုမျိုးကြီးဖြစ်တတ်တယ်ဆိုတော့
The lessons we learned during the COVID-19 period is that we can also face situations which we have never thought of it before, like the restriction of foreign and domestic travelers and the closure of tourism destinations. Because of this outbreak, tourism-related businesses start to think of the solutions to the problem and how to prepare when the same situation happened again. All tourist guides start to accept that they shouldn't rely on only being a tourist guide, and it is better if they do other business at the same time.
Transportation systems like tour express buses, trains play a crucial role in tourism sector as it is the main part in traveling from place to place. Every traveler uses the electric bikes for the short journeys when they don't want to walk from places to places. The trishaws can't also be missed out because they are also one of the easiest vehicles that foreign travelers would like to try on. Lamye, a trishaw driver, said how he is facing losses during the COVID-19 period.
Since February, all works have been suspended and there were no foreign travelers. So I have to depend on short journeys from the markets. I have to struggle a lot just to earn 2,000 chairs to 3,000 chairs a day. Before the COVID-19 outbreak, trishaw drivers here get the foreign customers with a cooperation with Tour Mandalay Company. Foreign travelers come here by tour buses and then they go to markets and to media train. Then they ride on trishaws and we have to send them to Tikwu Temple Tichaungji. One journey worth 5,000 kyats and foreigners hire one trishaw for each person. In the past times, when the area is filled with foreign travelers, we get around 10,000 kyats a day.
The COVID-19 pandemic occurred damages in every industries and losses in labors and job opportunities. People will have to struggle for their livelihoods with greater awareness of the COVID-19 outbreak. The situation is unpredictable and the lack of foreign income in the tourism sector seems to continue.
That's the report on tourism sector show lack of foreign incomes till today. Now to international news. According to the authorities there, at least 11 people were killed by landslide in Nepal on Sunday and 20 others are still missing. The landslide caused by heavy rain in the Simda-Pakchok district also injured 5 people and destroyed 11 homes. Monsoon rains in the region triggered severe flooding and landslides in Nepal, India, and Bangladesh in August. Microsoft on Sunday said ByteDance will not be selling TikTok's U.S. operations to the company. Microsoft said in a statement, quote, ByteDance let us know today they will not be selling TikTok's U.S. operations to Microsoft. We are confident our proposal would have been good for TikTok users while protecting national security interests, end quote. U.S. President Donald Trump set a deadline last month for TikTok to be sold to a U.S. company by September 20th or face a ban. An evacuation order was issued on Sunday morning for the residents in parts of the city of Arcadia in Southern California, U.S., as a massive wildfire is burning closer to the populated communities. Warnings of low moisture and strong winds that could fan the flames added urgency to the battle. The so-called red flags warning stretched from hard-hit southern Oregon to northern California and extended through Monday evening. Reports indicate that at least 33 people have been killed in the wildfires, ranging from California to Washington state. The historic blazes have killed 10 people in Oregon, 22 people in California, and at least 1 person in Washington state. Authorities said nearly all the dozens of people reported missing after a devastating blaze in southern Oregon have been accounted for. Officials said the death toll is likely to rise since there are more people unaccounted for in the fires. That's all with the news and reports on Myanmar Today. Hope everyone is staying safe.